Hello friends, welcome back to my random World Cup chitchat. So I think it's been already 2.5 days that we spoke, and between my last video and this one, there were already 10 World Cup matches. So honestly, I am not even sure where to begin. It's a lot to talk. Um, let's begin with the first match that happened immediately after my last post. Switzerland and Qatar. 1-1 draw. Switzerland were the aggressive unit. They had multiple shots at goal. Qatar played a very defensive game, but they got their draw. They got their 1 point out of it. But the match became a talking point for something not about the result, something which influenced the result actually. It's about the Swiss goal, and a lot of Qatar supporters are alleging that there was cheating and they were robbed of a chance, mainly because the penalty that was awarded to Switzerland, some camera angles showed that it was an offside call. And the interesting point here is FIFA, as you are aware, in this tournament is using the, that automatic animated thing where players' animation decides and technology decides if a player is onside or offside. And for that particular instance where this penalty was awarded, apparently momentarily the technology failed and VAR couldn't intervene and actually decide if it was a right decision or wrong. Many commentators actually, including the likes of Gary Neville, felt that it was an offside call. And the explanation also was quite bizarre from FIFA, saying they apologized, saying that the technology didn't cooperate with them. And a tournament like this with this high stakes, 3 points and 1 point can make a difference between you getting through or getting knocked out. I think that is quite strange if you ask me. Aptly, Qatar fans are upset. Now, you all must, I think most of you know that FIFA is headquartered in Switzerland, right? And FIFA's boss, Infantino, also is a Swiss citizen. He's an Italian-Swiss chap. Now, imagine the same thing happening with cricket, right? Such a controversial call. And let's say the decision favored India. Now imagine the ruckus it would have created with the likes of Jay Shah at the top. Anyways, so that's on some controversial note. If we move on, I think next match was the Clash of Titans, Brazil and Morocco. 1-1 again. I think Morocco is turning out to be a superpower in football. I think it is one African nation which is time and again causing upsets and giving tough fight for even the big names in football. I think in the last World Cup edition they reached semis. If you look at FIFA rankings, actually Morocco is placed very well. They are the 7th place team. Brazil is the 6th place team. But the football world would have obviously bagged, including me. We bagged Brazil to easily pull it off. I think Brazil had a very off game, barring some flashes of brilliance by Vinicius. Morocco got their point again. Again, the match became famous. This time, not infamous. But the talking point of this match was this youngster from Morocco called Ayoub Bouadi. I think 18 years of age. I think he's a teenager, and he's debuted actually for Morocco in this. This is the first time he's representing Morocco national side, senior side, and directly he starts off in a World Cup match. And oh my God, the kind of control he has shown. You can actually check out, there are specific highlights of his if you go to YouTube and see on how he dominated the midfield and how he had the likes of Casemiro, etc. in his pocket. Surprisingly, just 3 months ago, in March, this very chap, Ayoub, was French under-20 or under-21 team's captain. So he has dual citizenship. He could have played for France as well. But here he is creating sense. So suddenly, Ayoub became Vaibhav Suryavanshi of football world. I don't know if it's an apt comparison or not, but everyone is talking about him. Likes of PSG, Arsenal and Liverpool are already after him, willing to shell out 65 million pounds for this youngster. Big bets, right? So this is like, people who have that option to play for X country or Y country and them choosing. Now that's very interesting, right? Because I read that Morocco is the first team ever in any World Cup to field in their starting 11. This match against Brazil, all of their 11 players apparently were born in other countries and not Morocco. Obviously, they all have some Moroccan lineage, origins, but you have players who are born in Spain, like Hakimi, Canada, Netherlands. All 11 players, who are not born in Morocco, but it looks like just like how they got in the last minute, how they lured Ayoub to Morocco. I think they are doing something really well. The Football Association there in Morocco. Now imagine players of Indian origin, playing for India. I think that would make a lot of difference. Right? India still is languishing somewhere below 130 in the FIFA World Rankings. Recently, I think most of you are following football must be aware. We have this wonderful striker called Ryan Williams. He gave up his Australian citizenship and took Indian passport. So obviously, he's got some Indian links, and he represented India. He got a goal on his debut as well. Now, if we open this up, in fact, there are a lot of requests, AIFF to government also, that just for sports, can we have some, can we be lenient? Can we allow, dual citizenship is not allowed, but at least can we allow players of Indian origin who have overseas citizenship of India, though they are retaining the citizenship of the other country, can we allow them to play for India? If we do that, I believe we would immediately have a lot of good players. Just in this World Cup, we have only this morning we have this chap called midfielder, I think Sarpreet Singh, who started for New Zealand and played all 90 minutes. I think he's the first player of Indian origin who started in a World Cup match. And a day ago, or a few days ago, we had the Sri Lankan, Indian, Malaysian origin chap who came in between for Australia. He came in as a sub, Nishan Velupillai. So we have a few others even in this World Cup. They're all of Indian origin, but not Indian citizens. There's one playing for Congo as well, who's yet to start. And I think if we open that up, I hope that is one way. Just emulate, learn from Morocco, and just do something at least that will bring India into top 80, hopefully. On that note, I have a small trivia question. You can comment if you know the answer. Before the four players of Indian origin who are representing in this World Cup, there was only one player of Indian origin who ever started in a World Cup match earlier. Can you name him? And then he represented which country and in which World Cup? Please comment below. Okay, that's about players. Along with Ayoub, there are a few other youngsters, who made a lot of news in the last 2-3 days. One is for Australia, of course, sticking to Australia. Nesteri Irankunda. Fantastic story. Try and read about him. Born in a Tanzanian refugee camp. Originally from, parents were from Burundi. Came to Tanzania, was a refugee, and then moved to Australia. 20 years of age. Scored a fabulous goal. Who others? I think there were a few. Of course, we all know Lamine Yamal. I thought he should. I still think he should have started. He came in much later in second half, and once he came in, I think he just increased the momentum. We will come to that game. I think Spain and Cape Verde. I think that's a different story altogether. Cabo Verde, as they call it. They held Spain to a 0-0 draw, and that is the biggest upset if you actually, according to me, in this World Cup so far. When I say upset, they didn't defeat Spain, but come on, they are ranked somewhere as low as 60 or 70, and Spain is the second ranked FIFA team, hot favorites, one of the favorites to win this tournament, and crazy stuff. And their keeper, that 40-year-old, that is fairy tale story. Anyways, let's come back to the original sequence of games. Germany and Curacao. Die Mannschaft were on a rampage. Germany 7-1, right? The famous 7-1 scoreline. Not Brazil this time at the receiving end, but Curacao, the small country, Caribbean island. The only difference is this time I think even they celebrated their defeat just because of that one goal scored, and just to celebrate the occasion that such a small country. I think their population is as much as my locality here in Secunderabad, 1.6 lakh people, and it was full party time. That game itself was super fun. Germans, were clinical, and then Curacao was just enjoying. Fantastic match. Another interesting trivia about that match is the age difference between the coaches. Youngest, your Julian Nagelsmann, German coach, 40 odd, and then you have 40 odd or even 38, I'm not sure. And then you have 78-year-old Dutch coach, Dick Advocaat, the legendary coach. Such a huge gap, not only between the scoreline but also between the ages of the coaches. Coaches. Another thing, talking about coaches, there is already a sacking of a coach, and that too just after one match. Who would sack their coach in the middle of the tournament? Come on, एक ही match हुआ था. Agreed that it was a heavy defeat. I'm talking about Tunisia, the Tunisian coach, and they lost to Sweden, 5-1, and he was sacked quite ruthlessly, and they brought in the other coach, who coached Saudi Arabia the last time. Cruel world, this pretty cruel world. I read that, very surprisingly to me, I read that this is not the first instance where a coach was sacked in the middle of the World Cup. We had two earlier precedents here. Another trivia for you to do some research and find out. Right. Very quickly, let me come to how Africa and Asia are doing. Right. Africa, I think, is fantabulous so far in this tournament, barring, of course, the disappointing result of Tunisia. I think they are just standing out. Egypt drew their game with Belgium, right? Saudi Arabia yesterday, they have drawn their game. Qatar, of course, we started off with that. Ivory Coast won their game. They're the only African team, in fact, who won their game. I think, and your Cabo Verde. If you actually look at all these African teams' opponents' ranking, their average ranking of their opponents is 10, as low as 10. And then their average ranking is some 35. With this sort of a gap, they're actually getting points. So looks like Africa is here and is here to stay. I'm eagerly waiting for Senegal to have their game against France tonight. And then even Asia isn't doing badly either. Asia also, I think. I mentioned Saudi in Africa. Saudi Arabia, of course, is in Asia. Japan, what a game it was. I couldn't watch that match, but I watched the extended highlights. Netherlands and Japan game was, truly in footballing terms, was quite intense and competitive. South Korea, of course, won, and then you have Iran drawing their game. Who else? I think even Asia is doing really well. Who else? Am I missing anyone? Saudi, Japan, Korea, Iran, Qatar, right? So it looks like a very good World Cup so far for African and Asian teams. Let's see where this leads us to. Waiting eagerly for tomorrow's opening match of Argentina versus an African team. We need to watch out. And Argentina typically have this reputation of not starting World Cups well. I remember how they lost to Cameroon long ago, how they lost to Saudi last time. Fingers crossed. Hopefully against Algeria we'll pull it off. Thank you, folks. I'll see you again in a couple of days.